welcome back to Greenlands. Wow, it's been a while since I've said that. This is going to be a bit of a recap of this series because I've not played it in ages. You've not seen it in ages. And there are lots of new people. So, I thought I'd run through what the series is about and where we are. So, the goal of this series was to start with a £10 million loan and repay it. So we used that loan to buy all of the equipment you'll see, all of the land, all of the animals, all of the placeables, everything that you see we brought from that loan. We are into our second year on here. And as the loan stands, it's £8.25 million. So we've paid off £1.75 million worth of the loan. We own what I think is the main maypole farm on here. And a bunch of fields around it. So you can see all of these fields we own. Lots of grass fields because we have lots of animals. We'll come on to that. And then we own a half of ish the kind of nature area or whatever it is. And this we made into one massive field which had planted maize in, which I then forage harvested. And that's what we're standing on here. These two massive bunker silos that are just about to finish fermenting. And I guess the other thing is I'm going to add maize plus to this save, and I'm going to make sure that these turn into maize silage because that's what we're going to we want them to be. I just want to make sure that autosave is turned off on here. So yep, there's that. We have the industrial BGA on here. This is my version of the BGA. The plan was originally to stick all of that silage through this. Probably going to have to put it through some cows now. We then have a productions area here, and I handily have a nice little T6 here. This is a methane powered tractor available on my Discord. I think it's an edit that I did to the base game T6. So we've got the dairy here, which is currently producing chocolate. We have a sugar mill here, which has finished producing sugar. I'm probably going to swap that actually for just that Adams one, which does molasses and beet pulp as well. From the original version of the modular BGA, I have a bunch of their generators spread around I'm using to increase the income from the BGA. We have an oil mill just here and a whole load of canola oil to sell. Then, so recently harvested this field for corn silage and then put in a grass cover crop. They will be mowing that in the spring. I've been mowing the grass area that we own. You will see there are a bunch of little trees in here because this is supposed to be a nature reserve area and I turned it into an industrial mega farm. And so people commented on that. I took a load of trees out to make the field. So to balance that out, we planted a bunch of trees. They get in the way when I mow this, but you know, and this is actually waiting to be mowed by the looks of it. So that's a job that we will need to do when we start back up on here. So let's head over to the main farm now. It's quite strange driving around on here after so long of not playing this map. So coming up on our left is the start of our farm. You can see it in the distance there. The first field that we have has poplars in it, a very unpopular crop. They're relatively well grown. I'm not sure if they'll be ready to harvest anytime soon. They take a very long time to grow. I need to go through the state of our fields and see. I think we freshly planted a load of grass pastures. I need to work out what the replanting plan was. So this was wheat, I think, that I recently harvested. I think this was a root crop that needs stone picking. Yeah, no fun there. A couple of grass pastures on the left. And then coming up to the yard, and we'll have a talk around that. So we have basically lots of cows and lots of sheep on here. So I replaced the cow pen that's on here normally because it had a feeding robot, and I'm not a fan of those. So taken that out, and in here we have we went brown Swiss. We have 160 brown Swiss. Adding maize plus means that's going to suck because they don't do as well as Holsteins. So they are 30 and 28 months old. And then we have some brown Swiss calves. What I'm doing is so these are staggered. So they'll have calves at different times. And before the next set of calves is produced, we'll move the brown Swiss in fact, we may move them in the next one into our open cow pasture on here. So I need to set up grazing on here. We have some sheep in some of these open sheep pastures because we ran out of space, basically. And then we have a lot of silage. I have a custom bale wrapper on here. I'm not sure how that's going to work with Maize Plus. That adds in my logo to the bales. I need to make sure those will turn into grass silage. And then we have the Elk Mountain Ranch open pasture. This has a lot of cows in it. Mostly beef. Some of the calves from the other pen as well, because we've had some calves already. We turn on interactive markers. There it is. So this has 260 cows in it. I need to set this up for grazing. I've been mowing it because we didn't have grazing before. We now have grazing. I need to set this up for grazing, which is going to be fun because I've looked at it and it's not easy. So, yep, they're going to be grazing. We may have to sell some of those because they're going to eat a lot of feed. Got the Roland auto load bale trailer on here. Been using auto load, slurry tank, milk tanker. We produce a lot of milk. Grass fields down here. I think some of these might be turning into arable fields in the new year. I need to find my feeding plan or my planting plan. I've got it somewhere on the laptop and we'll go over it as we get back into things. Got some silage here, which was left over from, I think, our very first cut on here. So this needs to be grass silage. And we've got the Farsin self-propelled feeder on here. We are probably going to need to either edit this and make it much bigger or find a much bigger feeder. And the Farsin telehandler that we have is the electric one, which I've tweaked slightly to make it go faster. Yeah, so we have a methane-powered T6 and an electric telehandler. Mowers, bale wrapper, fertilizer, weeder, spreader, tedder. Some more silage bales, or grass silage bales. Little Massey Ferguson 5S. We have a lot of kit on this farm. We had to spend the £10 million to get started. So, yep. Bent 724, really nice tractor. And we can see these tractors have quite a lot of hours on them. Almost all of them except one were brought new. We've got some sugar beets in the back here. I think this is the only tractor I didn't buy new, the Massey Ferguson 3790 Alpine. Little front loader tractor, really handy. Casa Farms bale storage. So I'm not sure how this is going to work with Maize Plus. I might need to get in touch with him and see if he can drop me his Maize Plus versions. He's been working on them. Using this to store straw, hay and silage bales. And a leveler and compactor for the pit. Solid silo there, because we're producing our own solid fertilizer on here. We have 2 Joskin slurry spreaders because we do a lot of slurry and digestate work. Potato planter because we do potatoes. Field work kit. A very battered looking trailer. Deutz 8280 because I like Deutz tractors. So yep, one of those. So we have a lot of kit on the farm. Sheep pasture with lots of sheep in it. I'll come back to the tractors in a moment. So this one is basically full from what I remember. Yeah, 200 sheep. So before these have more lambs, we will have to move those around as well, which is pretty soon by the looks of it. This silo is empty. Kind of commodities shed with some leftover fert from what we started with and some lime. And then in here we have our class Trion 750 and the header for it, and we have the Crone big baler with the built-in windrower. This is an awesome baler, I love it. And the Lancer Maximus lime spreader. Regulars to the channel, sorry if this recap is a bit boring, but you might have forgotten as well, we've got the modded Alho rock picker. I think it's the 9 meter working width one. Silo with some oats, wheat and barley in it, ready to make a grain mix, because I was prepping this, say, for Maize Plus. I'm intentionally ignoring the rest of the tractors. 2 fermenting silos. So these have a bunch of chaff in them, which came from harvesting maize. So I need to edit these and set these up to work with Maize Plus. So these will be producing maize silage. Have the mini BGA from me. This has been one of our main sources of income, feeding electric charge through the generators. We've got this, which is a fertilizer production plant. So this takes slurry and digestate and turns it into solid fertilizer. You can see it's running at the moment. That's a really good source of income. So the digestate from the 2 BGAs gets fed through that. Over here we have a couple of the Blizzard Katrine mulchers. Really nice fast mulchers. We've got the Sopima trailer that lets you pick up a fert spreader, and then the Ural truck, or Yamaz truck, sorry, with an animal trailer on the back. This is Vertex Designs biomass heater that I have edited slightly to make it more profitable, because as delivered it's not very profitable. Details for that are on my Discord. Lime silo for storing the lime that we don't sell, because we are also producing lime. The rocks that we pick I put through the rock crusher and then sell the excess. Another generator from the modular BGA. I might swap those for the network distributor that I made after they updated the modular BGA. I might just keep those. Potato store from our potato harvest. I think that's most of the placeables. So let's have a look at the tractors we haven't covered yet and the kit we haven't covered yet. So we've got John Deere 8RX 410. This was brought used, actually. This was brought with the used equipment mod. Not used equipment mod. This was brought used. I've got the vehicle sales customizer mod installed. So yeah, and that has got a Horst 6 meter seeder on the back. I think it's a 6 meter. Class Arian 660. So same tractor that I have on Attingham. Obviously I set this series up way before Attingham was even a thing. Solid fert spreader, and then a T7 Blue Power 270. And we're using GT plows on here. Almost done. Almost done. So class forage harvester, the Jaguar 960 TerraTrack, another really nice bit of kit. And you will have just seen it as well. A baler tractor. Well, it has been, but yeah, the Zerian 3800. Might swap this because I think we've got the anniversary edition downloaded somewhere, so that is a possibility. And then, you know, a bit more kit, a couple of plows, tree planter because we've been planting trees, and poplar, the crop scanner, the unpopular poplar. I think that's everything. So what I'm thinking for this series to reboot it is I need to do a bunch of edits. And I think I'm going to show you me doing those. Do it on my Patreon videos when I have to make edits. And I think it's useful as not just a tutorial. So the edits I want to make, I'm going to take this fence away and I want to expand the grazing area to cover this pasture area that those cows have. It's not going to do a lot for their feeding, but it'll help. It's not going to feed 160 mature cows, even if they are brown Swiss. I need to make sure that these will graze. And what I might do is expand the capacity and expand their nav mesh and grazing area. So I might extend the nav mesh into the field that way and turn this whole pasture into a sheep field. As I said, I need to get this Elk Mountain pasture working with grazing because we have a lot of cows in it. And I need to edit some of the productions that we have to work better with Maize Plus. So that's going to take me a bit of work, actually. So that might be if the first few videos on here is getting things set up. So, you know, I need to edit those production silos, as I said, to take maize, to do maize, silage, stuff, words. So we're not going to jump straight into playing on here. There's going to be a bit of work getting things set up. Things that I think we're going to need to do, which might impact the loan status. So, obviously 160 mature cows is going to produce a lot of milk every month anyway. I had planned to sell those 2 big clamps full of silage that you saw into the BGA. I don't think we can now because I need to work it out, but we're going to be using a lot of feed. If I'm going to turn field 58 into an entire pasture for sheep, I need to probably get some more grassland. There are plenty up here, so we may have to buy some of these fields, which means we might have to increase the loan a bit to be able to do that. Maybe we finish this strip around here. So we own this whole arc. I think realistically we probably want to own this whole area that makes up what would be Maypole Farm. This is all grass, so this is going to give us a lot of grass silage as well. So we may be okay. But I'm nervous. I don't want to get rid of the animals we've got on here. I'm treating this as a challenge as to can I run a farm that's this big, because we have a big old loan to pay back. So going to be some kit we need to buy. We need to get ourselves a starter mill on here to turn the grain that we have in the silo into grain mix. Did have a beet chopper over at the production site. We may need to get something on here to chop our sugar beets. We don't have many left. We do have the potatoes as well, so yep, need to look at that. An OBS just crashed, but that probably is it. Yeah, so as I said, what I'm going to do is keep it on half time for a bit. I should stop running around. Need to find something interesting to look at. We'll look at some sheep. Yeah, I'm going to keep it on half time. I'm going to make all the edits to the mods, and I'll try and show most of those. They won't be tutorials. They will be me actually editing the mods. So there may be mistakes in there. It may become a learning experience. Yeah, they're not tutorials. They're me actually doing it. Because sometimes I think that's useful to people to see me actually do it rather than show you a super slick tutorial. And then we'll just get into working on paying down that debt with a massive Maize Plus farm. Now, we have so many animals. So many. I think there were 200 odd cattle in here. 240 in here. 250 sheep. And that's going to be growing. Yeah, it's a big farm. It's a big farm. So yeah, I'm looking forward to rebooting this. It's going to be fun. Hopefully you will watch as well. And yeah, if you're excited about this, click the like button. If you, again, if you're excited about it coming back, stick a comment below. If you've got questions or suggestions, comments, questions or suggestions, that's my only thing, stick them below. This one was picked over bringing Calmston back by the patrons. So thank you to them and the YouTube channel members as well. And if you want to get notifications for when this restarts, then subscribe and turn on notifications, and I will see you very soon on Greenland.